Oh, you should see your face right now. It is priceless. My beauty has you speechless. That is to be expected. You are in the presence of Xena, the Xenosian Abyssal Princess of Sorrow. Abyssal Princess? Why are you here? Why am I here? Ha! You are a strange one. Do you often invade the homes of others and then demand to know why they are there? This is your home? I thought this was Celestia's secret library. Oh. You are seeking enlightenment then? How delicious. Well, you were not entirely wrong. Celestia has indeed stored her books here, but in strictest terms, this is not her library, it's mine. I'm the librarian. I see you require some explanation. I have always had a passion for knowledge, so I was selected from among many to have the honor of caring for the wisdom of the ancient city of Haven. But then war came. I knew the library would be in danger, so I hid it and myself on the dark side of the moon. For a while it seemed I had made a clean getaway, and I would be able to spend an eternity at peace, alone with my beloved books. But alas, Luna, and by extension Celestia, found me here. I did try to fight them, but you see, I'm a lover, not a fighter, and in the end I had to submit to their power. So, I am now a prisoner in my own home. But I shouldn't complain. Celestia doesn't bother me much. She doesn't even seem to have much use for the library. She just putters around with her little projects in the basement. She has access to all the wisdom of the ancient world and doesn't use it? I like you, my little pony. You are astonishingly ugly, but I can see you share my passion for knowledge. Yes, to you and to me, that seems abhorrent, but Celestials are like that. They see sorrow as an evil to be avoided, and great knowledge brings great sorrow, so they are intentionally and willfully ignorant of many things. She does need books from the library from time to time, but she never enters it herself. She always has me fetch them for her. It's an arrangement that suits us both. Can you take me to the library? Well, of course I can. I am the librarian. Sharing the wisdom of the library is my very purpose in life. But, are you very certain you are prepared for what you will find there? Of course I'm certain. I've spent my entire life in libraries. I'm not afraid of books. No. You have spent your whole life in celestial libraries that have been sorted and cleared of anything dangerous. This is an abyssal library, and I promise you, everything in this library is dangerous. I am well prepared for danger. Perhaps you are at that. Well then, you have but to choose, and we can be on our way. Choose what? The path to the library. There are 2 ways to get there. When you choose, we will be on our way. What is the difference? They both arrive at the library, right? What is the difference? Well, 2 mares decide they want 1,000,000 bits. The first gets a loan, develops a useful product, and starts a business to manufacture and sell it. In time, she earns 1,000,000 bits. The second mare comes to Ponyville and tricks all the old ponies into making investments in companies that don't actually exist. Takes their 1,000,000 bits and flees Equestria. Both paths ended in 1,000,000 bits, so there is no difference between them, correct? You remind me of Ghidorah. Ghidorah? You know the Prince of Terror? Is he really still going by the name Ghidorah? Well, yes, that is his name, isn't it? My little pony, you have so very much to learn in so very little time. I do so look forward to your education. Dragons will often take on the sort of names you and I are used to when dealing with other species, but Ghidorah is a dragon name and fundamentally different. It's easiest to understand if you think of it as both a title and a name, for you see, dragons are a strange lot, and to them titles and names are very much the same thing, as they make no distinction between what you are and who you are. Ghidorah translates as son of the king, or prince if you please, as his father was Ghidra, meaning king. But when his father died, Ghidorah's dragon name changed to Ghidra. The fact that he still calls himself Ghidorah is very curious indeed. Did you know them? Ghidra and Ghidorah? Know them? My father was one of the great Abyssal Lords. I grew up with the Prince of Terror. You could say I was the girl next door. Oh, I've had a crush on him as long as I can remember. But his father had him so focused on studying and training that he didn't have any time for love. You have his smell on you. Could it possibly be that you are the one who released him? The one foretold that would become his lover and end the world? I do love him, if that's what you're asking. Yes, that would explain why you are here. I am horrifically jealous of your existence, my little pony. But fear not, I am a professional, and so I will not let my feelings get in the way of the task at hand. Though it is sad that such a great creature would have to settle for someone as hideous as you are. But then Ghidra always had a soft spot for the ugly and pathetic. But alas, I digress. You still need to choose your path. Yes, about that. You haven't explained the nature of the choice. Oh, I haven't, have I? It's fairly simple. If you go to the left, you will learn what you want to know. If you go to the right, you will learn what you need to know. I was going to say there is no difference, but you wouldn't be offering me the choice if that were the case. You are painfully ugly to look upon, but you are a quick study. I'll give you credit for that. Which choice did Celestia make? Do you really have to ask? She went left then. A quick study indeed. Not long ago, my only desire in life was to follow in Celestia's hoofprints, become like her. But now... Now you have doubts. Now you have terror. Guy has changed everything. He's turned my whole world upside down. Oh dear. You truly do love him, don't you? Loving Ghidra comes with a price, my little pony. What price? Do you want to know? Or do you need to know? Ah, of course. Abyssals and their riddles. Wisdom is a riddle. Celestials avoid riddles because they avoid sorrow. Riddles bring wisdom. Wisdom brings sorrow. Sorrow is to be avoided. Therefore, riddles are to be avoided. Guy said something like that to me once. He said he would rather weep in the light than laugh in the dark. Ghidra is very wise and a creature of great sorrow. So very beautiful he is to me. We would have made such a fine match. But alas, you must make your choice. I think you already know what I'll choose. Of course I do. I am the librarian. The question is, do you know which you will choose? Yes, I do. Getting to know Guy, I have come to realize how truly ignorant I am about everything. I don't even really know Celestia. But I do know her path has taken me as far as it can. I must make my own path from here on out. So, I must go right. Yes, yes, yes! Delicious! I had forgotten what it was like to have a true seeker in my library. I had forgotten what it is like to guide someone on the right path. What is this place? It looks like my war room back in my castle. This place? It is what you need it to be. Why is that? Because you need to know about the war. How could you... it doesn't really matter, does it? Yes, I do need to know about the war. A book about that was one of the things I came here for. I do share your passion for the written word. However, I literally wrote the book on the war. I lived the events leading up to it, and watched the war from here. So ask of me, and I shall tell you what there is to know. I don't even know where to start. I don't really know anything about the ancient world. I'm not even sure who was fighting. So, start at the beginning. As you wish. The history of the war is the very history of our world, for it begins with two unlikely friends, a pony named Celestius, and a dragon the ponies called Abyssus. These two creatures were both wizards of great renown, and came to know each other through their mutual quest. They were both searching for the secret of immortality. They were the first princes! Yes, Twilight, they were. Together they found what they could have never found separately, that the key to immortality lay in becoming one with the various elements of magic. When you become one with an element, you become as immortal as the element itself. And so Celestius became the first celestial, bonding with the power of light, while Abyssus fused with the power of terror, becoming the first abyssal. Because their magic was equal and opposite, they were able to balance each other out and achieve the harmony necessary to ascend. Did they start fighting then? No, Twilight. The fighting wasn't for a very long time to come. First, there was a great age of wonders the universe had not seen before or since. Each of the princes searched the universe for creatures with the power and character necessary to bind to the elements of magic and ascend. And soon, there were thousands of abyssals and celestials. They all came together and built a great city named Haven. Artists, wizards, scholars, engineers, and any other craftsmen of great renown traveled to the city of Haven to learn and perfect their craft. Kings and queens of various domains also made the pilgrimage to Haven to submit to the power and glory of the immortal princes. The city became the political, economic, and cultural center of the known universe, and was a beacon of light and hope to all. But... yes, Twilight, there was trouble in paradise. For when the two great princes returned to Haven, they found their philosophical differences were as great as the differences in their elements. Many ponderous tomes have been written to describe the differences between celestial and abyssal philosophy, but I shall try to sum it up for you. Celestius wanted a utopia where everyone lived in harmony, where no one struggled, fought, or suffered. But Abyssus saw a world without struggle to be a world without triumph, a world without conflict as a world without freedom, and a world without suffering as a world without wisdom. He knew the only way that Celestius could achieve his goals was by forcing everyone to think and act the same, and preferred a life of suffering and conflict to a life of tyranny and oppression. Oh, that does make sense from the things Ghidorah, Ghidra has been telling me. Please continue. The two philosophies created two political parties, and they were bitterly opposed to one another. Abyssus, of course, reveled in this. He saw conflict and debate as the greatest hallmarks of a free people, and engaged Celestius in debate whenever he could. Celestius, however, saw contention and disharmony as the source of violence and suffering, and was appalled at the growing acrimony in his would-be utopia. Abyssus was a brilliant orator, and even though Celestials outnumbered Abyssals, Abyssus was winning over the common people of Haven in droves, and Celestius saw his utopian dreams slipping out of his hooves. So, he did what he had to do. Had to do? War? Patience, Philly. War was coming, but that was not what Celestius had intended. Remember, he desired a world without conflict, so he believed for the greater good he had to kill Abyssus. He saw Abyssus's eloquence to be the source of the turmoil, and without him actively deceiving the people, Celestius assumed everyone would naturally accept his great society. So he invited Abyssus to his home and murdered him. Murder? No. Abyssus was murdered by his oldest friend? Yes, my little pony. Betrayed and murdered his oldest friend. A tragic and horrific act that continues to tear our world asunder even now. But I get ahead of myself. Celestius, standing over the corpse of his friend, suddenly realized that it wasn't enough to kill Abyssus. As long as his ideas infected his people, there would be no end to the strife. So Celestius decided he had to kill them all, until none drew breath that claimed to walk in the ways of Abyssus. Genocide? That is madness! Madness? Not at all. There is a time and a place for all things under heaven, my little pony, even war and genocide. My intent is not to convince you that Celestius was right or wrong in his choice, only to inform you of it. In the end, the only way to make all creatures live in harmony is to kill the ones that refuse to do so. His choice to commit genocide, therefore, was a rational one. If there was madness in him, it is shared by all Celestials, for they all desire a harmonious society free of conflict and suffering, and it is that goal which led him necessarily to genocide. Abyssus had understood this very thing from the beginning, and it was why he so adamantly opposed Celestius. But Celestius believed that in the long run, more lives would be saved than lost by eliminating all future conflict. So, he sent out secret messengers to his army, and telling them that Abyssus had attacked him in his own home, and that the Abyssals were attempting to overthrow the government. Celestius thought to catch the Abyssals by surprise, and to kill them before they knew what was happening. But he underestimated Abyssus's young son. Ghidra. Ghidra is the son of Abyssus. Oh my. Yes, Twilight. He is the son of Abyssus, the king of dragons, and the power of his vision was great even then. When his father was murdered, he saw it in a vision. He rallied the Abyssals and fled the city before Celestius could organize his attack. Celestius, while disappointed, did expect the Abyssals to flee, but he could not have anticipated what Ghidra did next. What did he do? Ghidra realized that if he left the city of Haven in celestial hooves, that its resources would give the Celestials an insurmountable advantage. So, he sent a small force to attack an outpost outside the city. Insulted by this attack, Celestius marched off with his whole army, leaving Haven undefended. Ghidra knew he did not have the forces to hold Haven, that he could not let his enemy have it, and that he had very little time to act. So he did what he had to do. He didn't. He destroyed the city? Yes, Twilight. He destroyed the city and all who lived there. He killed them all. From the elders in their rocking chairs to the foals in their cribs. He burned the city to ash, and the river Hope that ran through Haven turned red with blood. No. How could he? How could he? No. I don't want to know this. I don't. No, you don't want to know this. But you need to know this. For the one you love has slaughtered millions. He did it to save his people, but he did it just the same. Oh, how disappointing. Are you defeated already? Perhaps you are not the one foretold after all. Say the word, and I shall lead you out to the library, and you can go on believing whatever you want to believe.
You must never turn from the truth, Twilight, no matter how much it hurts or what it costs you.
No, I will not turn back. I will not turn away from the truth, no matter what. Continue. Oh my. Maybe you are the one after all. Well, we shall see. Then I shall continue. Ghidra knew that attacking the city would enrage Celestius, and planned to use that to his advantage. Now, Celestius, not wanting his family to know about his little murder plot, had sent them to a distant castle that they used as a vacation home. But when his plans changed, he forgot to tell his beloved wife Starlight he wasn't coming. So Starlight left his newborn daughter Luna in the care of his eldest daughter Celestia, and returned looking for her husband. Tragically, she arrived in the city just as Ghidra destroyed it. And so, Ghidra's plan was more effective than he could have known. For when Celestius heard of the attack, he was furious. But when he heard about Starlight, he went insane. He killed Celestia's mother? Oh, sweet Celestia. That explains why she's been acting so crazy with Guy around. Oh, my little pony. You have yet to learn just how deep the rabbit hole goes. Celestius was insane with lust for revenge, and drove his army 3 days and nights to catch up with the Abyssals in their mountain stronghold. Ghidra had prepared a trap for the Celestials there. His own army was fortified on high ground, and were rested and ready for a fight. Celestius, after discovering the ambush, could have retreated. But as Ghidra had hoped, rage overcame Celestius, and he ordered his forces to attack. Even so, the battle was still very much in question. For you see, abyssal power is inherently dangerous, so there were very few beings able to master it. The Celestial army therefore outnumbered the abyssal force by over 2 to 1, and the ferocity of their attack was driven by the deaths of their families. The battle was balanced on the razor's edge, and came down to one fateful contest. Celestius fought his way through Ghidra's guards, and the two leaders fought hoof and claw. Now, Ghidra was very skilled at combat. Abyssus had made sure of that. But, as you are aware, an immortal's power grows with time, and Celestius was almost 2,000 years older than Ghidra. Ghidra could not overcome the difference in their power, and was cast down. He lay expecting to be finished off by Celestius, but Celestius was not content with merely killing Ghidra. He approached the young Prince of Terror to taunt and torture him before killing him. This, however, was a fateful and fatal mistake. The moment Celestius was close enough, Ghidra used his stare on him. Celestius, suddenly confronted with the truth of what he had become, a murderer, genocidal tyrant, and worst of all, ultimately to blame for the loss of his own dearest starlight, took his own gleaming sword of light and fell upon it. When the great Celestius died, the element of light itself darkened for over an hour, turning the sun itself dark. When Celestius died, his troops were demoralized, and the battle turned quickly against the Celestials. Their corpses littered the ground from there to the Fortress of Sanctuary, where they holed up to make their last stand. So, Guy killed both Celestia's father and mother, and I brought him to Equestria and trotted him right under her nose. You do seem to be taking this rather well. Well? I feel like I've fallen down a well. But as long as I'm here, I might as well drink. Yes, my little pony, drink deep of my waters, for sorrow and wisdom are one. But that is not the end of the war. It should have been, and could have been. With Ghidra's brilliant tactical mind, he could have easily finished off the last Celestials. But with their great victory, the Abyssal Lords conspired together and decided they did not wish to be ruled by the young prince, for they had chafed against his father's strict morality and saw the same philosophy ruling Ghidra. So, they chose a new prince to rule them and lead them to victory, and quickly assembled a portal device to trap and banish the Prince of Terror. This prince who betrayed Ghidra, it wouldn't be Discord, would it? No, my little pony, but you are very close. It was in fact Discord's own father, Soak, who led the mutiny. Discord was of an age with Celestia, and so was too young to participate in the war, which is why he survived it. Soak and the Abyssal Lords gave Ghidra a choice, banishment or death. I do sometimes wonder just how hard a choice that must have been. Confronted with losing everything, Ghidra must have wanted death, but, true to his element, he did not shrink from the horror and terror of his fate, and instead embraced it, turning his prison into a fortress where the Abyssal Lords could do him no more harm. Soak then, confident of his victory, led a full-scale assault of the Fortress of Sanctuary. But now, the tables were turned. Even though the Abyssals now outnumbered the Celestials, the fortress was very formidable, and the battle raged for days. In the end, the Abyssals did defeat the Celestials, but the last of them, Commander Lightspear, used the last of his life and power to bring the very stars down upon the fortress. Soak and his few remaining Abyssals were too weakened from the battle to counter the attack or to escape. The Battle of Fallen Stars ended with the death of all the ancients. All their wisdom and power ended in fire and blood. And we few who remain are those who were too weak, too young, or too cowardly to participate. And so the world fell into darkness, both figuratively and literally. The star that warms this world is not a true sun, but a construct made by Celestius' magic. When he died, it slowly waned and weakened. The world began to freeze and darken, and it looked as if all life on this world would end. But then, Celestia! Yes, my little pony. Though still very young, she managed to find enough power in herself to rekindle and command her father's sun, and restore light and life to the world. The ponies in the West all flocked to her, and pledged themselves to serve her, and Equestria was born. And, as far as Equestria's history is concerned, you do know most of the rest of that story. The door opened. Yes, my little pony. It means you have accepted this revelation, and are ready for the next. There is more? How could there be more? You just told me the whole history of Equestria. Not at all, Twilight. I have told you the history of Ghidra and Celestius. But there is a history far more personal that you must know to understand your place in all of this. Personal? You mean my history? I already know my history. Do you? Then I suppose this next room shall be quite boring for you, and we shall trot very quickly to the library. Why do I have a very bad feeling about this? Because you are wise. What happens if I can't handle what's in that room? Then you will go mad. The truth is dangerous, Twilight. Like I said, everything in an abyssal library is dangerous. Will this help Guy? It will help him, or it will hurt him. But either way, it is the truth, and must be confronted before you can love him in reality and truth. Then, let's do this. What is this place? It is the basement, where Celestia has her little projects. Project Twilight. Project Twilight? What are these? No. They're me? No. I know my mother and father. This has to be a lie. You know the mother and father that Celestia gave you to after she crafted you. Crafted? I'm some kind of an experiment? A construct? A freak? Twilight, what you are has not changed from 5 minutes ago. Were you a freak then? This can't be right. It just can't be. Why would she do this? What is the point of this madness? There is no doubt a long list of books you wanted from this library. But in truth, there is only one you needed. Right over there. Entry 176. The failure of Project Sunset had made me despair. She had the necessary power, but proved too unstable to control. I have therefore decided to stabilize the abyssal power in Twilight with the celestial power of friendship. I believe that if I can select the right ponies to be her companions, she will be able to wield the weapon neither I nor my father could master, the elements of harmony. This weapon alone has the power to destroy the Prince of Terror and bring my dear father justice. I have already carefully planned her education and training, which will culminate in the confronting of the soon-to-return King Sombra. If she can succeed in that final test, I will grant her the element of friendship and the immortal power she will need to fully command the elements to destroy the Prince of Terror. As to finding the banished prince, I have decided what must be done. I have to revive Discord and reform him. If I can do so, he can lead me to the portal device his father used to banish the Prince of Terror. The rest will be as simple as leaving the portal device somewhere for Twilight to find. Entry 184. Specimen 23 is perfect. She is everything I've been working for these 1,000 years. I know she will be the one to command the elements and bring me justice. If all goes well, this will be my last journal entry, and my final use of this accursed missile laboratory. She created me to be an assassin? She created me, trained me, raised me, used me, all just to murder Guy? No, dear Celestia. How could you do this? How could you do this to me? Yes, my little pony. That is it. That is the sorrow I have been craving. Delicious. You will take me to the library. Now! Yes, my princess. You are ready. You are worthy. Ghidra! I know the truth. And because of that, things can't go on as they have been. Ghidra, I was in love with you. But now that I know who you really are, I am finally free to truly love you. But you must make one covenant with me before we move forward.
Anything, Twilight.
No more secrets.
Yes, my beloved. With all of my heart, I do grant your wish. Between us, there shall be no more secrets.
Come on now, y'all. I think we need to give them some alone time. Girls, we have to talk.